sort of thing. Let's boot from the SanDisk, and I would imagine that what we actually want is native IDE. Well, let's see. You have so many more distractions now anyway. Back when I was in school, there was just textbooks and chalkboards, and that's it. Later on, the mobile phones came in, but they weren't as exciting as they are now. We just had texting, texting, ringtones, the game Snake. It was a simpler time. Yeah, I think there's a genuine um desire, want, movement uh towards like de-teching people's lives. You know what I mean? Like, I think that, like, there's the dumb phone, there's, people going on retreats and stuff. Like, I think that genuinely, um there's just, you know people want that. um we certainly haven't gained anything from all of this. I would argue, at least. I mean, yeah, like, you can sort of argue, when you get to a new city and you don't speak the language, then you can just Google everything. But isn't that part of traveling, to just get lost somewhere? I don't know. Soon I'll be shouting "Get off my lawn" at youth. So who am I to say? Maybe I'm just not hip anymore. Maybe I'm not with the times anymore. I don't get it. What's the benefit of all this stuff? Like, TikTok. Why should I be watching these 5-second clips every day? As we're slowly waiting for the. Oh, I wanted to look at this LN2 score. So, on this exact board, actually, so 790 points. Yeah, that's not great. I mean, at C5 900. I know it doesn't really seem to scale all that much with threads. If you think about how a 5.8 gigahertz dual core did 850, and then presumably on a worse, like, hip replacement. I do have a bad knee. Knee replacement is a possibility, but no, not hip replacement yet. I could make an inappropriate joke there, but I won't. So 850. So is it all in the memory? What does our resident math bench expert say? Or is it just some sort of IPC? So we've got 1200 RAM. So it does seem to memory does seem to help somehow. So here we have AMD at 6.65 gigahertz. And 900 C5. And here we've got Intel at 5.8 gigahertz. Ooh, on a Rampage formula. I have that board right here. I was considering benching it, actually, but I don't know enough about high FSB. But where did I put my formula? That makes me optimistic about the 775 part of the stage, actually. Although I probably won't be benching it, but I can certainly lend out my my board to whoever needs it. Yeah, so here's the Rampage formula. One of the higher level DDR2 LJ775 boards that Asus released. Yeah, so someone did 600 on it, 600 FSP, but I think it's single stage. Yeah, single stage. Okay, that's the target then. That heatsink. Yeah, I sort of wonder if it's even like proper copper. It looks like it's sort of aluminium with a copper finish on it, if I had to guess. But it's got a nice plate at the back, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, it's a decent board. It has, I think it even has dual BIOS. That might be a dual BIOS switch. It's got your power and reset at the bottom here, and then it's got a connection for the little LC poster thingy. So you have in-OS, I don't know, voltage control and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty decent. The heatsink even takes up part of the I/O shield. It's even got a clear CMOS button, but I'm going to subtract some points for the combo PS2. Not good enough. Should have two PS2s. Yeah, so how long, Ginger? How long does this bench run? You've got Greek pi, prime numbers, logarithmic, and trig. Maybe Tyron can learn something by watching this stream. There's a trig part, 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, so let's check Intel. 709 medium time per thread, so lower is better. 700, 130, 200, and 130. And then AMD had, pi time was better. Prime time was horrendous. Log was worse. Trig was better. Huh. Very interesting. Although the system is sort of refusing to boot. Why is the pi time so much better? So is time per thread, so it launches a thread per, but I don't really get how. Maybe pi process interrupt, like it's all multi-threaded, right? But then I don't really understand how the first one could be so much better. I think this install might be dead. Let's try the easy option. Let's try AHCI. Affinity single core. Fair enough. Disable all this crap. Let's try AHCI. What's the worst that can happen? Oh, so the other thing that happened this week was deep sigh. Cinebench R20 got globals. As you can see here, SafeDisk putting up global first. And I don't like that bench because, well, there's a few things. First of all, it seems to score better with bench hate. Never a fan of bench hate. But otherwise, the problem is that you're burning LN2 to render a couch and like an IKEA living room set. Why can't they come up with a scene? Why, oh why can't they come up with a scene that's at least somewhat interesting? It's not even. Do you see how it's sort of skewed? Like, do you see? Let me draw a straight line from here. You see how it doesn't line up with the skirting board here? So it's like this artsy picture of a really boring scene, which is the worst of all worlds. I don't know, man. It's just like maybe their intern put together this bench or something. I hope for what is this company called again? Innovision or some shit. Maxon. I I hope that Maxon's excuse is that the apprentice did this, you know, the intern did it. That's what I hope. But it's got globals now, so there's been a big shakeup in the rankings because basically Intel lost 6, 8, 12, and 16 core globals big time because of the Zen 3 release. And then also there's globals for R20. I don't know. This kind of like caught me by surprise a little bit. But apparently superposition is also going to get globals. Here's a thread. Benchmate merging with bench8 integration, splitting up Cinebench 20 into single and multi. Imposing. They're talking about imposing bench8. It's gonna get a thank you from me. Yeah, this is exactly my issue with it. This is, even though I don't like the concept of bench hate in the first place, the really critical issue is the fact that it's sort of an unknown, in a sense, what benchmate does or doesn't need to run. It's sort of like, it almost feels in a way that it's sort of attempting to kind of completely replace the OS, like make the OS just into some sort of shim, and then bench8 is just is basically the thing that runs in between the OS and the bench, which I suppose is kind of required for an anti-cheat engine, but it's just, it brings all sorts of problems with it. Like, we've talked about the scenario before of where bench8 somehow becomes unsupported, or there's a big exploit that's found and nobody can fix it, you know, and then you sort of end up in the reverse situation where, had you just not used bench8 all along and policed scores just in a regular way, you would have been fine. But now that, you know, the last year, 2 years or whatever of scores have required bench8, you're now in a situation where you have absolutely no idea which score is real and which is fake, you know? And I just don't think that an anti-cheat engine should do that, you know? It needs to be open source, and it just needs to be lighter. And in the Cinebenches, it improves the score, which is just ridiculous because, you know, an anti-cheat engine should make sure the score is legal, but it shouldn't actually improve it, because that's like a cheat in and of itself. Oh, please work, Win7. Does this math bench thing also work on Windows 10? Maybe I should boot Windows 10. I don't know why it's taking so long. I don't know what else I could try. Windows 8.1 maybe. Of course, I never have all of the drives around when I need them. I'm wearing my Ryzen shirt today, by the way. This has superposition written on it. I think it might be 8.1 because I couldn't get a superposition running on 7. So at least this thing reliably boots. I have some LAN parties that are a bit finicky, to put it mildly. No. Don't boot off of USB. Boot off of the hard disk. I like where this is going. Okay, while that happens, I'm gonna get some more hydration. What did I miss? Not much apparently. Ooh, is it booting? Is it actually booting? DDR2 on Windows 8.1, ladies and gentlemen. Is this a first? Is this a world first? Hi. Just wondering. I think one of my cables might be just fucked. HDMI isn't exactly the most robust standard. There we go. Freaking magic. Let's download this math bench business. Yeah, sorry about that. Let me replug the cable and just in case that makes any difference. Weird. Um, Okay, let's restart the capture card. It's very persistent, isn't it? Not really sure I have any sort of remedy. Okay, let's see. Just gonna try one or two more things while I'm downloading MathBench. Version 1.2 is the latest, isn't it? Yeah, that's the latest I see. Oof, okay, that made it worse. Let's go back to what it was. Hopefully. Damn it. This is not what I was expecting. Alright, that's sort of roughly what I remember it being. Alright. Tech issues galore, but I can still see it. Alright, we are at 666 CL4. Oh, Bones, how are you doing? Haven't seen you around in a while. Have you run MathBench yet? Oof, alright. MathBench is the hottest new trend in extreme overclocking, don't you know? Thankfully, it's 7:15 at night here, and it's started to cool down a little bit. So, I'm starting to feel like I don't need as much hydration anymore. Although, of course, the 3 running rigs are putting out enough heat. What's going on now? Is it confused by this? Maybe. I think that's an EX-FAT. Sorry, someone's just calling me. I'll have to quickly go away. I'll be back in a minute. Well, I haven't missed much here, have I? Why is the system not booting? I've removed all the external devices. Oh, now it's booting. Okay, so like I was saying, this USB that I was trying to use is EXFAT, which this old system might not be a big fan of. So I'm gonna put it onto another drive that's FAT32, I think. Sorry, NTFS, which should be good enough. Oh, Bones, so you're not benching much. That's a shame. No, I hadn't heard. Well, stream 93 and it's the first time I get a call, an urgent call in the middle of a stream. But you know, once you do enough of these things, it's inevitable. There's a problem with this drive. Man, it's hard to see this crap. I wonder if I can do anything on the output side, like go to 16-bit or some crap. It doesn't actually even give me a 16-bit option. Let's see what happens. First run. Still running. I didn't miss much. About 90% retired. Retired from life or from benching? Or maybe that's the same thing. No, that's cool. I don't know. People, it's not really something you do for your entire life, is it? Benching. It's sort of 10 to 15 years, probably both. Fair enough. I wish I could retire. Maybe I need to move to North Korea. You know, live in a socialist society. That's how that works, isn't it? So Greek Pie is done, but it actually won't show you the subtest until afterwards, apparently. So my chiller is now on 21 degrees, and it's at least not running constantly. What's the CPU even boosting to? Is that too much to ask? Opening up an instance of CPU-Z in the background? Man, that's slow. I should sub this. Just be like, yeah, this is a final sub for Math Bench and Country Cup. Lull the USA and Germany and Italy into false sense of security, you know? it's 3 gigahertz. So unlock chip though, so I should probably try and find the sort of top of its capabilities first before messing with anything else. So that's 336. I mean, it's not terrible. Well, they probably want a motherboard tab, don't they? Background is okay. And now let's try the ginger method. Whatever, CPU 1, I guess. Yeah, so math, let's have a look. Math benchmark, Harabot. I think when the competition started, 1.0 was out, and then gotta disable. Oh, there's no Vista or newer. Vista might be quite quick. Then again, .NET 4.5. But I think at the start of the competition, 1.0 or 1.1 was out, and then I think they might have fixed 2 bugs. There was talk of a 1.3 though. Bones, you should have VIP now. Oh, we've got AMD K6 on the channel. Welcome, welcome. It's a fun benchmark to watch. Yeah, riveting. There's so much going on here. I can't believe it. All these bar graphs and charts and render windows flying around the place. It's just a visual marvel. Hey MDK6, how are you doing? As you can see, we're running one of the most interesting benches in the history of extreme overclocking at the moment. Crosshair 5Z. I'm watching this interesting bench. So we're all riveted. So is it my imagination, or does it run slower with affinity set? That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to run it's going to score worse though, so we'll see. The Harrowbot moderators have a sick sense of humor. This is coming from the people who did a BCLK, a reference frequency stage 2 years running. 2 years running. And it's, yeah, an old Hertz ketchup commercial. What? I don't get it. So where was the reference frequency? So yes, this is what we had to run 2 years ago. Gee, what platform is this? This is Socket 939, isn't it? Yeah, yes, 939. So we had to run 939 775 1151 version 2, 1151 version 1, AM2 plus or AM2 maybe. What's this? Well, AM3 chip, but I think this is considered AM2 plus because it's a DDR2 board, and LGA 2066, which I think is still the platform record, believe it or not. That'll tell you how much ref frequency anticipation. Okay, how much BCLK gets run as a benchmark. Let's see if I can still claim the LGA 2066 BCLK world record. I never looked this stuff up, so there we go. Motherboard reference frequency. There we go. A full 1.13. Oh, Greek Pi is finished. Breaking news. We're onto prime numbers. What's gonna be different about this bench compared to this subtest compared to the last subtest? I wait with bated breath. Yeah, and then look at that. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to see. 7 in a row by Australia. 2 Romania, 1 Poland, 1 Greece, and then 7 in a row. Nice. Anyway, still salty about it being dropped from a gold to a silver comp, but anyway, competition points don't really matter that much anymore. But let's look at the other reference frequency stage. So here we had 6 scores across 6 sockets. This was Intel only. So now we had... Ooh, we lost it to Italy. But this is... Let's look at Italy's scores, actually. Italy... What did Italy run? Well, we're still on prime numbers. So they ran... Let's compare these two years, actually. So Apex 9, we got a 525 out. They just did an 485. Then 2066, they got a 369. That compares to a 416. Then there's the old sockets. That is 701. Was that cold, actually? Versus our 720. Yeah, that was cold. Cold on both. Okay. What the hell is this again? This I think is a server socket. Let's just look at this sub directly. 500 on a server socket. Is it a 771 maybe? Yeah. So they're on Wolftail. So 771. What was this again? This was like some sort of mobile socket, and then this is obviously 478. Yeah, this was this weird socket P business. Socket P. Just gotta close my door. Right. Yeah, you can see it's like an early ITX kind of thing. And then this was 478, wasn't it? Confusingly, they both have 478 pins, but one of them is called socket 478 and the other is not. What other weird and wonderful stages have there been? There's been 3 Mark 01 on iGPUs. I mean, GPU Pi 32B on GPU, it's not even that trolly. Like that was by all. I didn't bench it. I don't think. Yeah, didn't bench this stage. I would remember that. Yes. I mean, 15 seconds on LN2, 15 minutes on LN2. That's a lot, but it's a fun stage. This is trolly, in my opinion. 05 on duals, that's nice. GPU Pi 1B on single core CPUs. Now that's, oof, I just missed the transition. We finished prime numbers and we're now onto logarithmic and exponential sum. What's going to happen in this subtest? Only time will tell. So a 45-minute bench on LN2. Now that is pretty trolly. Especially this poor soul having to do a 55-minute run on a Celeron. Yes, you need entertainment to keep you going. So that was Country Cup 2018. Let's go back to 2019. I enjoyed PyFast. Did a lot of that. W Prime, that's always nice. SuperPi with the locked multi, that was pretty trolly. Only 7x multiplier allowed. In the end, we basically ran everything single channel, and it's just, yeah, not ideal. Not ideal at all. Reference, I mean, X265, that was decent. Y Cruncher is a little bit